Hello, we are live. My name is Paul. Welcome to Common Touch of Fantasy. I am doing a 6 books. First page, pick one. I'm not really sure what I want to read, what I'm in the mood for, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the first page of the 6 books that I have behind me here and see which book I want to read the most. As you can see, my backdrop has changed a little bit. I moved my desk around, my furniture around a little bit today so that I can get better natural lighting. I got tired of the window being behind me when I was filming, and this way with the window off to my right, it looks a little bit better, and also the backdrop looks a little better. However, my room is smaller now, but that's okay because you gotta suffer for BookTube, right? My favorite comic of the month will always be right up here. This happens to be The Black Monday Murders by Jonathan Hickman, issue 1. This is my favorite comic of the month. And then next to that will be my favorite book of the month, since I've been only reading comic books lately. Lazarus Volume 1 takes that spot, but I hope that changes with the next book I read. So here we go. First page of 6 books. The first book we're going to try is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. And yeah, this guy's ridiculously good looking. I mean, photogenic as anything. Anyways. Alright, first page of Red Rising by Pierce Brown. Is that a prologue type thing? Yeah, sure. Let's read this. I would have lived in peace, but my enemies brought me war. I watched 1,200 of their strongest sons and daughters, listening to a pitiless golden man speak between great marble pillars, listening to the beast who brought the flame that gnaws at my heart. All men are not created equal, he declares, tall, imperious, an eagle of a man. The weak have deceived you. They would say the meek should inherit the earth, that the strong should nurture the Gentile. This is a noble lie of democracy with a K. The cancer that poisoned mankind. His eyes pierced the gathered students. You and I are gold. We are the end of the evolutionary line. We tower above the flesh heap of man, shepherding the lesser colors. You have inherited this legacy. He pauses, studying faces in the assembly. But it is not free. Power must be claimed, wealth won, rule, dominion, empire purchased with blood. You scarlet children deserve nothing. You do not know pain. You do not know what your forefathers sacrificed to place you on these heights. But soon you will. Soon we will teach you why gold rules mankind. And I promise of those among you, only those fit for power will survive. But I am no gold. I am a red. He thinks men like me weak. He thinks me dumb, feeble, subhuman. I was not raised in palaces. I did not ride horses through meadows and eat meals of hummingbird tongues. I was forged in the bowels of this hard world, sharpened by hate, strengthened by love. He is wrong. None of them will survive. Ooh, not bad. That was the first page of Red Rising by Pierce Brown. Alright, here we go. Every Heart a Doorway by Shane McGuire. First page. Let's check it out. The title of the part here is There Was a Little Girl. The girls were never present for the entrance interviews. Only their parents, their guardians, their confused siblings who wanted so much to help them but didn't know how. It would have been too hard on the prospective students to sit there and listen as the people they loved most in all the world, all this world at least, dismissed their memories as delusions, their experiences as fantasy, their lives as some intractable illness. What's more, it would have damaged their ability to trust the school if their first experience of Eleanor had been seeing her dressed in respectable grays and lilacs with her hair styled just so, like the kind of stolid elderly aunt who only really existed in children's stories. The real Eleanor was nothing like that. Hearing the things she said would have only made it worse as she sat there and explained. So earnestly, so sincerely that her school would help to cure the things that had gone wrong in the minds of all those little lost lambs. She could take the broken children and make them whole again. Alright. Next book, Ancillary Mercy by Ann Leckie. First page. One moment, asleep. Awake the next to the familiar small noises of someone making tea. But it was 6 minutes earlier than I'd intended. Why? I reached. Lieutenant Eklund was on watch, indignant about something, a little angry even. Before her, the wall displayed a view of Ethok Station, the ship surrounding it, the dome over its gardens barely visible from this angle. Ethok itself, half-shadowed, half-shining blue and white. The background chatter of communications revealed nothing amiss. I opened my eyes. The walls of my quarters displayed the same view of the space around us that Lieutenant Eklund watched, in command. Ethok Station, ships, Ethok itself. The beacons of the system's 4 inter-system gates. I didn't need the walls to display that view. It was one I could see anywhere, at any time, merely by wishing to, but I had never commanded its actual use here. Ship must have done it. At the counter at the end of the 3x4 meter room, Severden stood, making tea, with the old enamel set, only 2 bowls, one of them chipped, a casualty of Severden's early inept attempts to be useful more than a year ago. It had been more than a month since she'd last acted as my servant, but her presence was so familiar that I had, on waking, accepted it without thinking much about it. Severton, I said. Alright, Ancillary Mercy. Let's go with Slow Bullets by Alistair Reynolds. These are the books that I want to read the most, actually. That's why I'm reading them. My mother had a fondness for poetry. When my sister died, but before the news of my own conscription, Mother showed me passages from a work by Grierson. It was a poem called Morning Flowers. This was an illegal act. Grierson was the official war poet for the Central Worlds. Her works were banned in the peripheral systems, considered propaganda, but Grierson had been famous before the war, and my mother had collected several of her anthologies. She was supposed to have handed these books in during one of the amnesties. My mother could not do that. One of them had been a gift from Varvarel, with an inscription in Varvarel's beautiful flowing hand. My sister had always been better handwriting than me. Morning Flowers was about death and remembrance. It was about accepting the death of a loved one while holding onto the bright thread of life. Grierson was a great comfort to me during that time, but I could never speak of her work beyond our home, and after my conscription, I had no way of taking her poem with me. I tried to remember it, but even the few short verses of Morning Flowers were too much for me. Eventually, a ceasefire was declared. Alright. Here we go. The Bone Clocks by David Mitchell. June 30th. I fling open my bedroom curtains, and there's the thirsty sky and the wide river full of ships and boats and stuff. But I'm already thinking of Vinny's chocolatey eyes, shampoo down Vinny's back, beads of sweat on Vinny's shoulders, and Vinny's sly laugh, and by now my heart's going mental, and God, I wish I was waking up at Vinny's place in Peacock Street and not in my own stupid bedroom. Last night the words just said themselves. I really love you, Vin, And Vinny puffed out a cloud of smoke and did this Prince Charles voice. One must say, one's frightfully partial to spending time with you too, Holly Sykes. And I nearly weed myself laughing. Though I was a bit narked, he didn't say, I love you too back. If I'm honest, still, boyfriends act goofy to hide stuff, any magazine will tell you. Wish I could phone him right now. Wish they'd invent phones you can speak to anyone, anywhere, anytime on. He'll be riding his Norton to work in Rochester right now, and his leather jacket with LED Led Zepp spelled out in silver studs. Come September, when I turn 16, he'll take me out on his Norton. Someone slams a cupboard door below. Ma'am, no one else dared slam a door like that. Suppose she's found out, says a twisted voice. No, we've been too careful, me and Vinny. She's menopausal, is ma'am. That'll be it. And then it talks about a Talking Heads record in the next paragraph. So it's in the 80s. The beginning of it's in the 80s. Okay, and finally, Robin Hobb, Dragon Keeper, Volume 1 of the Rainwild Chronicles. I'm upset about this book because I ordered it and it's all messed up. I knew it was used, but I didn't think it was going to be this bad. Prologue, Serpent's End. They had come so far, yet now that she was here, the years of journeying were already fading in her mind, giving way to the desperate needs of the present. Tessaracqua opened her jaws and bent her neck. It was hard for the sea serpent to focus her thoughts. It had been years since she had been completely out of the water. She had not felt dry land under her body since she had hatched on Other's Island. She was far from the Other's Island's hot, dry sand and balmy waters now. Winter was closing in on this densely forested land beside the chill river. The mud bank under her coiled length was hard and abrasive. The air was too cold and her gills were drying out too quickly. There was nothing she could do about that except to work more swiftly. She scooped her jaws into the immense trough and came up with a mouthful of silver-streaked clay and river water. She threw her great head back and gulped it down. It was gritty and cold and strangely delicious. Another mouthful, another swallow, and again. Alright, so those were the 6 books. And I will now choose which book will be my next read based off of my enjoyment of the first page. Red Rising, I was interested in the first page, so I'll keep that one maybe as a maybe. Every Hearted Doorway, a maybe. Ancillary Mercy, I'm passing that one. Soul Bullets, I'm going to pass on that one. The Bone Clocks, maybe. And a Dragon Keeper, maybe. So it's between these 4. I'm going to put Every Hearted Doorway down. Bone Clocks. Okay, it's between Red Rising and Dragon Keeper. Which one? Red Rising's shorter, I think. 3 something. This is 4 something. Dragon Keeper, Red Rising. I'm kind of in the mood for maybe some YA. They're both kind of YA-ish. I don't know. We're going to go with Red Rising. Red Rising is my pick. This is the book I'm going to start, and hopefully I'll like it and enjoy it. We'll see what happens. But the Reds will rise. It was a red, right? Yes, he's a red. He's going to get rid of the golds. Down with the golds. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys later. Let me know if you like the new backdrop and the new setting and stuff. Thanks, guys.